Hi, welcome. Simon here, and I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'll be changing out a keyboard on an HP laptop. This is a replacement keyboard, and I'd like to show it to you why you would have to change the full assembly. If you take a look here, this entire metal bracket is not screwed in. Those little black dots are kind of like embedded to it, like a punch down from the manufacturer. So the entire metal piece is covering up the keyboard. So if you break the plastic, the metal piece will not be able to hold it. So every time when you press the key, that key would just kind of like sink in because the metal would just fall off to the back. Alright, so if you have one broken key on your laptop, sorry, you would have to change the whole thing. It's a full assembly on a keyboard. Alright, let's jump right into it. Let's identify the model here. This is the HP, let me see if I can see it, HP 15 bs0087nr. It's kind of hard to see, but that is the model here. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove the battery. The next step is to remove all the screws. They might have hidden screw underneath this rubber here, so you want to get a metal prying tool to go underneath the rubber, peel it off. Get a regular Phillips screwdriver, start removing the screws here. I recommend you to remove the screws and lay it on the table accordingly so that when you put it back together, you will not be mismatched the screws. I believe all the screws are not the same because there might be a difference in size of it. So far everything looks the same though. I might be wrong on this. Yeah, looks like the screws are all the same. It is okay if you mix match the screw. Alright, once you have removed all the screws here at the very bottom, the next step is to disconnect and open up the keyboard here. So I like to stick it in between. You can see that there's a gap between the base, the palm rest, and the cover of the computer. So stick it underneath, kind of give it a little prying open. And when the thing is opened up slightly a little bit, I like to use a plastic prying tool to run it across rather than the metal, because the metal may make a scratch on a key, on the laptop. Okay, you want to kind of be very careful when you open it up because the hinge is very fragile. It only has 3 screws, and that screws are not bolted deep into the plastic. It's very shallow, and the thing is somewhat heavy. So if you're not in a close position and you try to open it up, you might crack the bottom part of it. So just so you know. Okay, let's jump right into it. This is the hard drive, SSD, RAM, motherboard, CPU. So we need to remove all of this and transfer over to the new keyboard, and that's how we're gonna do it. Alright, so and here I recommend you to take a picture of it. Okay, take a picture of your internal computer, print out the piece of paper, print out the picture in a piece of paper, As you remove the screw, you want to lay the screw on top of the paper to make a reference that, later on you know how to put them back together. So to disconnect this sort of cables, there's a clipper right here. You just need to open up the clipper and slide that cable out. Here comes the speaker. Disconnects the speaker by pulling that cable connector down towards your body. That is for the CD-ROM, and this is the keyboard. Open up the clipper and then just remove it. Of course, remove this one as well. Okay, once you have done with that process, let's move on to the next step. What I like to do is to make a little mark here on the Wi-Fi antenna. It says number 1 is white, so I'm just going to color it like that. I know this cable belongs to the bottom part of it, and this cable here without the marker would be on the top part of it. Remove the little screw. And here comes the DC jack. Slide that DC jack away from you. This is the LCD cable. Again, slide it away. CPU fan, there's only one screw holding it down. And then the connector, slide it away from your body. Okay. That's the motherboard screw. Again, there's another one here. This cable, disconnect that. There's a very one here right next to the CMOS battery. And I believe the motherboard is free. Okay, so we just remove the entire motherboard. And now let's remove the hinge, transfer the DC jack connector. Just on the top right corner here. Okay, so there are 3 screws for the hinge on the top left. Open it up. Okay, remove the DC jack. That is the power button, so let's go ahead and disconnect that as well. This flex cable is double-sided adhesive on it, so when you peel it off, just be very careful with that. And that is the DC jack. So the entire keyboard is ready to be removed. That is the speaker part of it. Remove the speaker. Alright. So we have the whole keyboard is removed. Okay, here comes the replacement keyboard. Slide it in. Transfer the speaker. Right now at the moment it's just a reverse process to put everything back together. This thing has to be slide in, but for some reason I'm having some difficulty to slide it in. It looks like you need to angle in a position just enough for it to go. This is where the clicker for the touchpad. Okay, that is in. Have two of the screws to go back in it. Okay. That is the motherboard. The motherboard to put back in together right here. Making sure the cable is sitting on top of the motherboard. Clip it in. Have this one goes in here, DC jack, and the cable for the power button. Just have to slide it in. I know that it's kind of hard for you to see, but there's a top right corner little thing over there, has to be slide in. Okay, let's have the motherboard back in it. Okay, close the hinge down. Slide the cable back in. So the power button cable is all back together, which is the right thing to do. Let's just rearrange the cable. Push in the LCD cable back in. Do not forget the Wi-Fi. Number 2 goes on the top. Number 1 goes at the bottom. I labeled it so it's easier for me to spot it and put it back together just like that. So there is a way to fold the keyboard. It looks like the keyboard has to be folded in first. And then it goes around. And it goes around. Goes back in like such. Speaker, reconnect the cable. Let's reconnect the hard drive. Remember the 2 screws has to be screwed into that. speaker cable, making sure you have them in a position so when you close that cover it doesn't get smooshed into it. I believe there's a screw right there, but I kind of forget about where the screw is supposed to go in. Let me just have the hinge install. Do we have everything together? This. Power, trackpad, hard drive. Okay, I think that should be it. That's all it has. Reconnect the back cover together. I'm just going to put one screw on each corner and double check my work, making sure things work before I put everything back together, especially where the power button is. Yeah, I need to refix the corner here, but you get the picture on how to do it back together. So you want to double check the wiring. I noticed that the wire here is not in a position. I can't close it all the way in. There's a slight little gap right there. Okay, so I need to realign my cable. The charging cable and whatnot is on this side. All right, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now.